Hi everybody, it is April and I'm in my craft room, and today we are going to make a quilt using a free pattern from Tiny Orchard Quilts. I follow Tiny Orchard Quilts on YouTube. She makes the cutest quilts and has the most helpful videos on free motion quilting designs and provides free patterns from what I can tell on a regular basis. So this is a fat quarter plaid pattern. Love plaids, love fat quarters. What's not to love, right? So what I'm going to do, I have a Tula Pink fat quarter bundle that I have been holding on to. I'm going to actually cut it today. So let's get started. And there's my cutting assistant. Okay, this is it's a one piece of paper pattern, and it looks to be pretty straightforward. So it tells me exactly how to cut my fat quarter. Don't worry if you have uneven edges. There is plenty of room built in to this cutting diagram to take care of that. What I've done is I have made 3 stacks of 4. Now that wouldn't be 16 fat quarters, would it? I've made 4 stacks of 4 fat quarters, and I'm going to cut them. I'm going to start cutting them long ways, and then I'm going to finish the cutting by going on the shorter side. There are only 3 cuts long ways, so to me that's the easiest path. And what I've done, I just lined them up on the selvage and lined them up on one edge. So the other edge might be not so lined up, which is perfectly fine. Let's move my cutting assistant. This ruler is wide enough to handle all the measurements that I'm going to be cutting out of this fat quarter. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten the edge where I lined all of my fabric together. I will line it on the selvage line because that should be straight. The selvage edge is supposed to be the straightest part. And then I'm going to cut. So now I have this edge straight. Now I need to cut 8 inches. And that is right here. So I'm going to line my straight edge on the 8-inch mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to cut. Now I need 3 inches. So I'm going to line this side on the 3-inch mark and make sure that I've lined it up the whole way. And now I'm going to do 6 inches. Lining up the 6. Make sure it's lined up at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there we go. Plenty of wiggle room. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is the long edge, this is the short edge. So I know that this side is straight. Now I want to make sure the top is straight. Now I need to cut 5 inches. 5 inches. I'm lining it up on the top edge. And I'm trying to make sure all my rows stay in place. Now I need 3 inches. So I'm going to line that up, carefully moving my ruler. And this is a free pattern, so that's why I'm giving you numbers. And I will link to her pattern in the description below in case you're interested in making this quilt. Now 4 inches, so 5, 3, 4. Then we go back down to 3 again. And 5. And we have this left. So plenty of forgiveness in cutting this fat quarter. Now I want to move my next stack of 4 to this corner. So I need to get this out of my way. In order to do that, I am going to move these pieces from my mat to this mat. I'm going to lay it this way, and I'm going to do that as I cut the other groups of 4. That way I can just carry this out to my sewing machine, because of course, you know, my sewing machine is not located in the same room as my big cutting table. And then I have a little TV tray that I will set this on and pull the pieces off as I sew them. I have a new setup, so I'm hoping it will work well and be conducive to this type of project. We will find out. All of our pieces are cut, and I've got them all stacked together. The next thing we need to do, and this is very important, is we need to do a little mix. So we want to change. To me, this looks like a ribbon in a package, and you've got these 2 stacks of 3-inch squares. We want them to be different from the other fabric around them, but the same as each other. And I've already decided I'm going to find my hot pink fabric, and I'm going to pick up everything underneath the hot pink, put this down and put that on top. And then on this 3-inch block, I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, so now these 2 are different than everything around it. We also want to do that for these pieces that look like package wrapping to me, but we don't want them to be the same as this, and we don't want them to be the same as the other parts. So I need to shuffle, and essentially I want to make sure that all of these pieces, all of these cuts here are the polka dot. So if I look at my pattern, it highlights in green what part of the pattern should be the same. So this is polka dot, polka dot, polka dot, polka dot, polka dot, and this is polka dot, which I almost forgot. So I'm glad I double checked. Oh, and this is polka dot. See? It's easy to miss. Okay, so what look like my bands or wrapping paper to me are polka dots. And then these two are both the pink. Now I'm ready to sew. And the way that I'm going to sew this is I'm going to sew across, because then I only have 2 seams that I have to match up when I match my rows together. If I were to sew this row and then this row and then this row, then I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 seams. And to me, it's easier to match up to. So let's go sew this. As I have been working on these blocks, I've kind of developed a little process to be most efficient. So I chain piece the left-hand side of the rows of my block, and then I just cut those apart, stack them up in order, and add the right-hand side. So here I have the block, and it's in the right order, so I can cut them apart and leave them in order as I cut them. Yeah, it was easier a minute ago. Okay. So this is the order. So now I just stack them up. And then grab from the right-hand side of my block pile, finger press, and then sew the other side. So here I've got my blocks, my rows in the correct order. So if I open this up and press it out and open this and press it in, I can just lay this block over, and this is how it needs to be stitched together. So it's still attached in the place where I chain pieced last, but here I put it together and it looks awesome. So I know this part of my block goes this way, so now I can add the next row. Open it up. Okay, that is that. So this one I'm going to finger press the opposite way of the way the row before this row is, which probably makes no sense at all, but it means something to me. So I line it up, so now I know these are the first 3 rows of my block. I've got the next row sitting and waiting. This one is going to be pressed out. So I just lay it over, bring it around, line it up, and sew. I just need to remember that the furthest row out is the top. Okay, so here I've got the last block to add. I want to finger press this inward, lay this over, line it up, and sew it, and I have another block done. These are like Barbie colors. I love them. All right, so I can go ahead. This is so smooth. I like this so much better than that little iron that I was using. That little iron I was using kind of got on my nerves. This gets nice and hot. I have it on the 3rd setting up. So here I can just press. I know I'm not really supposed to iron as such, and this is a Cricut Easy Press, so it's meant to press. And my block is ready to go. So now I want to place my blocks on my design wall in the order that I want to put them together. I will tell you, some of these blocks I flipped because there is some directional fabric that just didn't look right upside down, and it probably doesn't really make a difference because if you have the quilt on, who's looking at it will see it right ways, or you will see it right ways. But anyway, so what I wanted to do was make sure that my rows going this way all lined up. So these, the longer side is on the left, where on these blocks, the longer side is on the right. So I actually have 2 rows of blocks where the longer side is on the left and the shorter side is on the right. And because there are 4 rows altogether, the other 2 are the opposite. Fortunately, the 2 blocks that I have left, it doesn't matter. There is no directional fabric that's going to make a difference. So what I'm trying to do is not put polka dots with polka dots and stripes with stripes and the same color with the same color. Although here I've got a green and a green, but I can live with that because this is one of those special blocks. So it can't go just anywhere. So I've got this, which has the green in it, and this, which has this pretty blue. And I think I already see what I'm going to do. Hold on, I need my stool. I'm going to put this block with the teal blue here. And then this block with the darker green here. Okay, let's put this bad boy together. I am so excited. So this is done. I will hang this up and give you a better show of what it looks like. I'm very, very excited. I bought a fat quarter bundle of line work by Tula Pink, and I really didn't know what I was going to do with it, so I'm just loving this pattern, this free pattern from Tiny Orchard Quilts. I'll put a link below. I mean, this is the pattern. It isn't easy, but it's not hard. But I'm thrilled with the way this turned out. I haven't decided if I'm going to, because I also got the 1 yard bundle because I love this fabric. But there is a solid black that I haven't decided if I'm going to put a border around the outside or I'm just going to bind it once I quilt it with that black. It took me a little while to put this together. This is not something that you're going to whip out. I mean, you could probably whip it out in a day if that was the only thing you were going to do. It took me a little while longer than maybe one of my 3 yard quilts, which is fine because again, I'm very pleased with the end result. Thank you again for watching. If you liked this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel for more quilting, sewing, card making, cutting machine type tutorials. Have a great day. Eat some chocolate and be kind to everyone. Until next time, bye.